There's something you want to see.
I've seen people, but
All right. So
I don't want to interrupt your
assuming
image.
that we're ready to get the session started, uh, last week at the Whims of Fate, Brina was not as good as talking with people as she once was. And Tong was better at talking with people than she
And she
has
normally is.
been. To the point where Brina thought that Tong is royalty.
That's getting worse.
Actually, no, not thought, thinks. She's currently under that impression. Erden made more money and was asked slash told that he is going to be playing for the wedding that is happening later this evening. And we met up with Igraine, had a nice talk with her, decided that we're going to get as many people as we can into the wedding, including Adara. And Tooth pulled out the Tarpus from his bag.
Oh, for the love of God. Not
Tipping crossovers!
Allie
Tipping crossovers!
knows Tong, but Tong doesn't know it yet.
Mm-hmm. And last we saw, Tong took the bunny into a corner to try and have a mental conversation with it so that she could understand.
That she did. And this week, with the Whims of Fate, whoever wants to go first.
No, I'm gonna make that call first because I never know whether Megan's going to pass out or not. You start with your conversation.
I don't think we necessarily need to roleplay the conversation between Tong and the
purpose.
I think that could just be something that like DMs like what information I get.
That's fair.
I feel like it's not necessary to the story.
It's fine.
Tooth. Yes. What is your plan for this wedding? I don't understand what we're doing. Tooth is lost. Tooth is confused. We're supposed to gather information he doesn't know. Because now he's confused because we're supposed to prevent assassination, but that person's already dead. So he kind of just wants to go to a party. I mean, if we still need to gather information, he's up for it. Why are you speaking in the third person?
Here's a suggestion that one of my characters would make that if they weren't distracted at the moment is that Tooth go invisible and steal money from all the nobles attending the wedding. Get us some supplies. Or funding for supplies.
I'm suddenly glad the Tarpus is distracting Tong.
Words you'll never hear again.
Yeah.
I'll think on that. All right. So we have our two of characters within this room. We got two that have been invited. One that's kind of expected to be there, even though she has not been invited.
Now, who is that? It's either the one that's going as a +1 or the absolute foreigner. It had no idea there was a wedding.
That's the closest word I get, which is not bad, but not great.
Because Igraine has been invited. Airden has been invited as a musician. Tong is expected, even though she doesn't have an invitation.
At least by one person.
Mm-hmm.
Whom after listening to the last session, like I think I may have heard the name Elaine, but I'm not quite sure.
Elaine is Igraine's daughter.
Yeah.
She is an
I don't know what the name of the other person was. The name got kind of garbled when you said it.
I don't remember her mentioning the name of the Duke's daughter that you were talking to at all.
the Earl's daughter. I did say her
Yeah.
name.
Oh.
To be fair, though, I had just brand new gotten this stupid,
Yeah, the Duke.
yeah, so it may have been difficult to understand what I was saying because I was getting used to this. I'm still trying to get used to this. I still have a list because this thing gets in the way of my tongue and I can't put it where I need to. It's very frustrating.
You sound better than last time.
Thank you.
Alright, so I think first order of business, Idea, get clothes. Like, get something appropriate.
I will see if I can try and duplicate some invitations. They didn't send them out with like names to anyone. They just sent them out to nobility. So as long as you have the invitation, they'll assume you're nobility. So as long as you look the part, no one's going to really check.
So if I have to look the part of nobility, do I have to look the part of local nobility?
No. So I do recommend you keep it within the, quote, Western Roman Empire. They're not really expecting anyone from outside that. The less we draw attention to you, the better, is basically what I'm saying.
Adea is A, trying to figure out which empire she probably falls under, and B, is trying to handle the concept of not drawing attention.
She should be very familiar with and trying not to draw attention, considering that she uses her glamour to make herself look less attractive.
She does usually do that, but now she's trying to, play the part of looking like a noble, but without drawing attention, and she doesn't know how to compute the two together.
For the Empire thing, give me an intelligence check.
Sure.
This is more of a human construct and less of a Fae construct, so we have to see if she even
Yes, but where is my phone? Because that has my character.
understands what that means. Since she hasn't spent a ton of time in the human world.
He had to go grab his phone because it has his character sheet.
Gotcha.
Kids relying on those newfangled technology stuff.
For shame. Your bad time?
I rolled a 9.
Yeah, you're not entirely sure what the Western Empire, Roman Empire is. You thought that Rome was all one empire, so you're a little confused.
Adea's sitting there and she goes, "Okay, so we're staying away from the east. Is Greece too far east?"
Yes.
Very much so.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, yes, we're talking like gold, Gothica,
Basically, we're
Anglia,
Places
Saxony.
Adea has not spent very much time.
exactly.
These words are just like going over her head, like, Saxony. Oh, that sounds like Saxon. That's like, Erden. But I don't know what the other ones are. You think you've heard the word goal thrown around before? by Henry, maybe?
Medea just looks more confused, and she's like, "Okay, can I trust you with the dress? Like simple and elegant, but elegant and fitting in, and I can work on the jewelry."
Yes, of course, we can do that. I'll have to go back to the dress shop and get your measurement.
Maybe I should take the glamour down.
Oh, yeah, probably. I imagine it'd be difficult to, well, no. No, no, no. Keep it up. We don't want people to be worried.
I
I can,
alter it to be the right height.
I can alter it. I'm a druid, so magic.
Magic.
So it's okay if I look a foot shorter than I actually am.
Yes, I can fix
Okay.
that. Easy enough.
Alright, so,
So-
Erden, I believe that they said that you had to be in there relatively soon. Because
I did, yeah.
You're getting fitted.
Mm-hmm. Wonder if
Uh,
it'll let me keep the clothing.
It would be useful if you could keep the clothing. That way we don't have to. If we have to do this again or something similar to it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. Let's see.
When is the wedding supposed to take place?
I think it's sometime tonight.
Yes, it'll be at sundown.
You remember an hour and a half was said about somebody's report time.
Yeah, Ern in his head, he's like, probably half of that time has passed by now. I should probably like get walking in like 15 minutes or so.
So, Bree and I will wait here for Tong to finish her thing, and then we'll see about heading over if we don't see you again before then.
All right. Oh, by the way, I got a second key for the room I purchased. Do you guys want to like drop your stuff off in there?
Mm,
What?
It's the only other guy I would assume it would be too.
What was the question?
Do you want to drop your stuff off in the room that Erden got?
Yeah.
Awesome. And he'll toss the other key over.
I have a key. Hee hee. Uh-oh.
Medea will begin digging around in her bag. She's looking for gold and a dark red stone of some sort, but is not finding any red stones.
Right.
That's all you guys need from me. I'll be gone.
I was gonna say, I'm gonna look at Igraine and it's like, I know you said not to stay in the Western Roman Empire for Idea, but will Tong and I be okay because we're gonna be looking even more out of place?
Well, Tong said that she already met someone as she is, so she should probably stay that way.
yes.
Like I was supposed to match her. So most people ran away from. Most people didn't want to talk to me.
Not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, it'd be one thing if all of you came as very, very foreign. But if there's only like one or two of you, it's less conspicuous. I mean, it's not like they're totally unexpected. I mean, they do go on vacation every now and then.
I wanted to double check.
Silk Road. Oh, it's in a question it.
Oh, that's right. That's what I opened up my thing for to see if I have any friends.
Okay. On that note, aside from Miss Adea here, does anybody else need clothing appropriate for this and want to run along?
I know Tom said something about needing her fancy clothing mended, but
Well, I don't think it's mending in the sense that you mean are thinking of. Brina, it's more of that afterwards she'll need it changed so that the whole for her tails fits all of her tails and not just half of them.
Tails?
yes, Tom has tails.
Fluffy tail.
Yeah, and Ra will like point over to where Tong is right now. So you notice anything odd about that fox over there besides the fact that it can speak?
No.
That's Tom.
Looking.
Well, she has 4 tails.
Oh, that kind of odd. Sorry. I've seen animals kind of like that. I mean, they've had I've seen a horse that had 6 legs, so that was interesting. It didn't even occur to me that that was not normal.
But she also has the tails in her humanoid form. It just may not have been obvious because the tails would have been inside the dress and covered by the skirt.
Gotcha. Well, if she needs help adjusting, then I might be able to help with that too.
But I don't think right. She doesn't need it right now since going to appear human.
Fair enough. All right. So is it just me and Adea?
I think so.
As far as the need of shopping, I believe so.
Okay. All right. What we'll go do with that. We'll be back shortly, hopefully. And then I guess we'll figure out what to do with the rest of you. Yeah, I'll pick the invitation thing too. I'll see if I can work on that while she's getting fitted. All right. We'll be back. Come here, dear.
Maybe we can find a ruby or a garnet or something on the way. I can't find one.
Right, as Idea is like walking by, Ra will like put her hand on Idea's shoulder and be like, "Behave yourself."
I'm trying.
No, no more talk about riots.
Oh, we're replacing riots with rubies. Different R words. It's okay.
But what if the rubies cause a riot? Oh no. Sabrina like muttering to herself, hoping not having an idea overhear her. But what if the rubies cause a riot?
The day's been, successfully distracted into making, jewelry. So she can be both in and out of her comfort zone at the exact same time.
Wonderful coping mechanism.
Yes, something like that.
All right. So, all right. So we've got Ernan going to get his fitting. We've got Isaiah going to get her fitting. What are the rest of you doing in the meantime?
Playing with Kador and Elaine? To be perfectly honest, I'm probably just playing with them because I'm kind of following Tong on this one.
And
Like, playing with Fedora and Elaine, make sure Tong's okay if she talks to the stuffed rabbit.
Rod is just going to be the motherly person of the people staying behind, making sure everything's all right.
Two's coming up with plans. Plan of robbing people.
Right.
All
I
right.
didn't hear what that was at all, but can I assume that you're trying to get drunk again?
Planning to rob people.
Oh, that also makes sense.
Okay.
I wonder if
Oh.
Grand Theft Horse was a thing back then.
Grand Theft Horse? Yes, it is actually.
Well, considering horses were then just as expensive as they are now, probably. And I think.
Are you worried about Thunderclap being stolen?
Yeah, I think it would be a Grand Theft Equus.
Yeah, Grand Theft Equus.
Yeah, I was trying to come up with a code name for what two set out to do. Grand Theft Purse Bag? No, doesn't sound quite right.
Grand Theft Money Pocket.
Grand Larceny.
There we go.
Yeah, Grand Larceny. Grand Theft Robin Hood.
Well, I mean, yeah, I suppose it could be Operation Robin Hood. Steal from the rich, give to the poor. Except the poor is himself.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Guy who has 10 platinum to his name.
The ignoble Robin Hood.
I mean, what are the chances they'll give to the rest of us? Since we're kind of poor.
I liked it.
What's the good of us? The good parts of our party would actually take the money from Tooth, knowing where it likely came from. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Dad keeps thinking she's poor, but every time I think about this, I realize that our earnings from the Atlantean murder investigation are incredibly high.
That's true. Also, that's also why Erwin decided to play for a crowd to actually bring up the party's finances a little.
Zaya usually is poor because she's really bad at, remembering to sell her stuff because she just likes people liking her stuff.
Are you channeling my inner crafter? I like making pretty things, but I don't sell the pretty things. I just like making the pretty things. Then I give them away.
Hey, Arthur,
Yes.
high or low?
Hi.
Marco, high or low?
Low.
Trying to imagine what measurement taking is going to be like in a glamour because it doesn't affect physical, so nothing's gonna feel like it's in the right spot.
Well, nothing's going to feel like it's in the right place, or things are going to pass right through.
Dominic, high or low?
Hi.
And Mary, high or low?
Hi.
We got high hopes.
For a living.
Yeah. We definitely need that living.
Well, we got more optimists than pessimists.
more of a pessimist. I'd say he wants to do something different.
I'm pessimistically optimistic.
What's that supposed to mean?
I chose pessimism because I'm optimistic that that was actually the correct answer for a high or a low.
Oh yeah, I looked up what the
Is
definition
this
of
like
narcissism
saying that
is.
you're positive? You're positive this is a bad idea?
I am positive that this is a negative.
Okay. Erden,
Hmm.
I go to you. Going to get fitted.
Yay.
Okay, so you're gonna make your way to the palace as you were directed by the directions on your piece of paper. You are brought to not the front entrance, but to a side entrance. So one of the service entryways. And there's actually a couple of servants standing outside talking to each other. Looks like they're just sort of mingling. And they are speaking in one of the Celtic languages. Kind of sounds like it's a weird dialect. Like you can catch some of the words, but it's like they've kind of mixed a few.
Mhm.
They're probably some sort of mixed Celtic tribe. They kind of stop when they see you. They're both young men. One of them looks you up and down. Can we help you?
Okay, so for a reference, Ern dropped off like most of his stuff in the room. Like he only has like his average clothing, like and only like the chainmail shirt underneath. And he actually brought out his old iron sword instead of the bright hearth with him. So he's kind of devoid of a lot of stuff right now.
And your instrument.
And my instrument, yes.
I was gonna say, please tell me you brought your instrument.
He definitely did. And he's like, "Hi there. I was been following the directions on this invitation to, and I'm supposed to be getting a fitting for, I guess, playing in front of a bunch of important people."
You're the bard that everybody's been talking about, aren't you? With the weird twangy instrument.
Yes, that's me.
Gotcha. All right. Well, you can follow me. I'll take you to where you need to go.
Awesome.
The other one's still just kind of like standing there, kind of squinting, as the first one leads you inside. So when you go in the servants' entryway, it's kind of a narrow hallway, and it immediately opens up into the kitchen. And they are busy as hell in there. And there are cakes and pies, and I thought she was going to take advantage of that. In one of our other campaigns, we had somebody, I don't know why we got into it, but we would start going, cakes and pies, cakes and pies, cakes and pies. There's meat roasting, you can smell it. There's lots of fruit bowls being put together, bread baking. Most of it's actually out cooling at this point. Cheese is being prepared. There's a lot going on in this kitchen. This is a very, very large kitchen. You kind of cut through there. You go past a door that goes downstairs. It's probably the wine cellar. And then you head into this back hallway, and these hallways back here are narrow. And he leads you up a staircase, and you go up a couple flights, and then that leads into another narrow hallway, but he goes to a door almost immediately on the left, which opens up into a main hallway in the castle, to which he goes down about 4 or 5 doors before he turns to the right, knocks, and then opens it. And inside is a seamstress who appears to be Saxon. She's got the blonde hair, the blue eyes, and she is currently with a woman and getting her fitted into a gown. She is wearing this dress that she is being pinned into is this dark blue, almost a royal blue, and it's got lace all along the top of the skirts, long draping sleeves. The seamstress looks up and goes, "Who are you?"
Oh, for the intrusion, my name's Finn. I'm here for a fitting.
Finn. Okay, yeah, just go way over there. I've got to take care of this first.
Okay.
The
just
woman
walk over the side.
kind of glances over at you. As you get a good look at her, she also has blonde hair, blue eyes. Her hair has been curled. It definitely does not look naturally, really. She just kind of looks you over. Bard? And she asked this in Saxon.
And respond in Saxon, yes, ma'am.
Didn't know we'd gotten someone from the homeland. Never heard of a Finn, though.
As I'm up and coming recently. I think people just like my instrument and how novel it is.
Oh. Hold on. I just wanna... Yes, that doesn't look like a typical lyre. I'm assuming it's also not an instrument from Saxony.
No, it isn't. Well, I'll be playing several of the songs from the region. They won't exactly sound the same.
One for me.
Okay.
You
Can I roll an insight to see just how important this person probably is?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
right.
Am I rolling insight? It's a terrible roll for me. Actually, it's not too bad. Okay. 18.
So in Saxon culture and many of the mainland cultures, a blue dress is the color you wear for your wedding. So there's a very strong possibility that this is the future queen that you are speaking to.
Awesome.
In Tom's eyes, she once was the queen.
And
In the present,
Bryn
she is the
gets a
future
performance
queen.
of
But
18.
she is not.
So you go ahead and you start playing a lullaby that you grew up with. Something that you're like, she's gonna recognize because everybody sings this song. But she knows appreciatively. I'll say it does sound strange on this instrument, but The music itself is nostalgic. I'll be back. I'll jump in. Um, He'll be adequate. Something has to be adequate. Whole wedding is such a well. Doesn't matter. You're almost done. Yes, Your Highness, I am almost done. And I'm going to stab you, and not on purpose.
Are you not excited about this union, my lady?
I've never met this man, and this decision was made for me. I didn't have a choice. My father and my uncle both decided that this was what was best for all of us. I was perfectly content with staying in Saxony, but for some godforsaken reason, they really want this pathetic little island.
So, I'm assuming they'll be. They came with you to observe this.
Oh yes, they need to make sure it goes off without a hitch.
Yes, that makes sense.
You've been on this island long?
I've couple decades been around a lot of places.
She kind of leans forward a little conspiratorially. Do you know much about this Vortigern?
This question of no,
Ern suddenly realizes how much power he suddenly wields.
Well, now that you mention it, he's fucking nuts.
Well, he's a
far away.
certainly unique individual. One doesn't simply take upon a name that nobody uses anymore. And if you don't mind me saying, I've only ever seen the man smile once.
Yeah.
And every other time he looks as if he stepped in something foul and he still can't remove it from his boots.
The seamstress is like,
And Ern's
Oh,
doing
my.
really surface level stuff. Like, if you look at him, it is completely obvious.
No.
oh, they'll be gone. We'll finish this in a moment. But I have to have. You can get this done before the wedding. Trust me. Shoot. In fact, why don't you take this hideous thing off me, deal with it without me, and I'll just put it back on later and hope it's good enough. Hope it's good. Fine. Fine. Go ahead. Take it off. Thank you. She gets off the dais, goes behind the changing curtain. She's back there
Ern
for a few
turns around anyways.
and she's dressed in something more comfortable now. The woman takes the dress and she's just fuming under her breath as she walks out. Good. No more prying ears. You are completely safe in here. Tell me the truth. What is he like?
He has only himself in his eyes. And
Typical girl. No offense.
yes, yeah. Perfectly fine. I also can't tell if he vilifies Rome or wants to recreate it. seems to hold it equally.
Stolen in contempt.
On a pedestal and in contempt. Yeah, that's a really good way to say it.
And
So in other words, not a good person.
I couldn't possibly say that out loud.
You, my kind sir, are a Saxon. You can say whatever the hell you want about a Roman.
Like Ern instinctively does divine sense right now when he says that.
No, it seems to be a pretty mundane room with pretty mundane people.
No, the fog of great deity nearby.
No.
I wouldn't put him on the throne.
They don't. Well, my father doesn't plan to keep him there long. But my father's not exactly the kind of person you want on a throne either.
Does he plan on using you to take the power for himself?
Oh, yeah. Typical manly move. Women are just pawns to people like them. He was disappointed that he didn't have a son. And so here I am doing his bidding because I don't have a choice. Despite the fact that I could have become a wise woman if I'd really wanted to, but he wouldn't allow me to even try. Because that meant I could take power from him.
I mean, they are great women. And very powerful, actually. It's rather terrifying. I can see why somebody constantly vying for power would be terrified of that possibility. But I don't know, I've only heard a few things here and there, but most people, at least out there, don't particularly enjoy the Vertigern, and, well, it's almost like he has a bit of divine protection since he was the only one to survive the rest of his family burning.
Yes, it was a suspicious circumstance. Then you worry that he's unkillable.
No.
However, I hear there's also somebody else out there opposing him. A Pendragon.
I certainly heard rumors of that. I've definitely gone around, there's definitely someone fighting Saxon forces.
Question is this a good person doing the fight, or just another one of these men who think they can lead?
Well, I will say this. The Vortigern does not have the support of the Druids, who have their own form of power and seem to choose who they think is best.
As I've heard. I also heard that they lost their leader recently and they're a little scattered. Can't see us being able to rely on them.
Oh. Well, they may not have a leader. Their followers will at least follow the last commands. You can generally rely on people like that. And if they didn't support the Vertigern initially, they probably wouldn't now.
Fair enough. But from what I understand, Rome is not a huge fan of magic in the first place. So even if they did support him, would he even accept it?
Has he accepted any help from the wise women?
I don't think he's met a single one yet. I'm not sure he's talked to anybody outside of my father and my uncle.
So all three are making very unwise decisions for controlling power.
Yes. So maybe we'll get lucky and let's just wipe each other out.
Well, if what you said earlier is true, then you might be used to ensure of that. But then again, you might want to be a little careful since his recent wife just died, and
Yes, I heard. Assumption. Between you and me, I very much doubt that was what it was.
I mean, if your father wanted power anyways, then sure, consumption could have happened, or he could have planned her poisoning anyways. Could have been both. There's certainly ones that last longer.
Oh, I don't think
Take a while.
I don't think it was poisoning. I think he used a wise woman. All he'd have to do is get her to disguise herself as one of Quentin's servants. All she'd have to do is cast a little curse on an object in her room, and then it would look like she died of consumption.
Does it have to be a particular kind of object, or
As long as it isn't iron, doesn't really matter.
do you think it might still be here?
Likely, this king doesn't trust magic. He wouldn't have searched for it. But alas, I guess I will never know. Queen's quarters have been blocked off, and I will get my own rooms. Brand new, untouched. Don't have to worry about kitchen consumption from her.
Oh, what a... And, well, that's smart. That also helps them hide whatever they wish.
Well, anything else I should know about this king before I marry him? At least tell me he's not ugly. Old. Oh, God, how old is he?
I don't know off the top of my head, so I imagine Ern does.
You know that he's in his late 20s, early 30s.
Oh, about as well as me, maybe 30 something, late 20s.
I was worried it was going to be one of those 60-year-old kings.
No, that would have been a little embarrassing.
That would have been disgusting. I absolutely would have fought tooth and nail against that one. I'm sure I have now talked your ear off. I am going to go and pretend like this isn't happening, at least for a little while. We never spoke.
Oh.
I
But no
look
sound occurred.
forward to hearing more of your music, Finn. Good day. And she will leave the room.
And we'll take like 10 seconds between her leaving and someone else arriving, just like, what the hell is happening? I wished I brought Tooth somehow. I could have sent him over there. Or somebody, anybody. Is this how Green feels all the time? Wanting to
right.
tell people things?
Like, I can't send the messages. It's only a few minutes later before you can hear the grumbling of the seamstress coming again. But this time she seems to be talking to somebody. She opens the door. She goes, "The bard you're looking for is in here." "Where's the queen?" "Oh, good luck." And she leaves just as a man walks in. Another Saxon man. Vernon. This Saxon man looks familiar. He is an older gentleman, starting to gray a bit. It's hard to tell because, blonde. But he's also got some distinct elven features. And he watches the seamstress leave before he shakes his head, shuts the door, turns to look at you and freezes and goes, "What in Odin's name are you doing here, Erden?"
Oh crap.
Playing music. What do you think I'm doing?
"You're not a bard. You're a paladin."
But I'm a pretty good bard.
And
And that's it. It's been what, 20 years? Never once bothered to write home? Never once bothered to let us know you were alive? Or anything? Not even a visit? And then you just show up here acting like you can be a bard at a wedding? A royal wedding, for that matter? What the hell is wrong with you?
okay, first of all, I didn't really want to write. Also, I don't have a lot of. I only recently got some more paper, so yes, I can't really argue that. Also, I didn't know how to send anything back to you guys. Also, why would I do that anyways? Also, I've been spending the last 20 years getting good enough at music to actually basically be a bard. Even the bard that I'm traveling with is kind of jealous how good I am. I really want to help her out with that, but I still haven't figured out how. I have no idea how to play her instrument.
I'm not sure how I got this.
Also, what are you doing here?
Working as a tailor, like I always have. So right now it makes more money to do it for humans.
No surprise there. They keep ripping it and then dying, so yeah, that makes sense.
Hmm. Hmm. All right. I'm going to be professional about this. You, apparently, need clothes.
Yes, I do.
He sets down like this case that he has, pops it open, and starts pulling out some fabrics. Lots of kind of shiny fabrics. Fabrics that come from your home world, your home country, rather than the human one. Because everything has just a little bit of that sunshine in it. And really make it pop. You haven't worn anything like this since you were a kid, like.
Wow, you're really going all out with this.
Well, I was told that I was dressing the best of the best. not an ungrateful, spoiled brat who ran away from home to apparently sing.
It's, I'm only decent at singing.
I don't know.
It's the instrument.
Mm. What the hell kind of instrument is that?
An Atlantean one.
And I don't want to know.
See this is what happens when you leave home. You get to go to other places and do cool stuff.
Mm. Get up on the dais. All right. I need you to take off the clothes you're wearing so we can get you fitted properly. All right?
Yeah, Ern's already like halfway through, just like, hey, take off this,
Starts measuring you. And he's a little rough about it. He like pulls up against, kind of brushes up against your shoulder. And he's, measuring your. When he goes to like measure your waist and like your shoulders and your neck, he does it a little tight.
I recall you said something about professionalism. Didn't really get that in writing, unfortunately, but
Mm. Yeah, well, this is professional for me. All right. He starts kind of leaving some cloth on. He's being silent but moody as he's doing this.
how's the family?
Are you just trying to make small talk or do you actually care?
Well, seeing as you obviously wanted me to write, you obviously had something to say, so trying to get you to say it.
Good question. Cannot find. Did you give me much on your family?
I never really thought about it.
Fair enough.
It's kind of one of those. He had a mom, he had a dad, he probably had a couple other older siblings, only older siblings, when he left.
Oh, so he's the youngest.
Mm.
Like
Well,
either his dad or or an older brother or something, and I'm really wanting to know who on earth he's talking to.
Could be
But I'm not there.
Or cousin.
He's silent for a moment, then finally he's just like, yeah, I do have something to say. Did you know your mother cried herself to sleep every night for a year because she thought you were dead? Did that matter to you at all?
A little. Also, she had several other siblings to deal with, so meh.
Several other. Oh, no. No, she didn't. Not my pen. You see, because when you decided to leave, that you could leave, everyone else decided, hey, why am I sticking around? And proceeded to leave one by one. We haven't heard from anyone. Except an older sister who is apparently engaged. To a dwarf. Hope you're proud.
You say that like you're not.
He's a dwarf.
And
Do you know pride?
do you have no open-mindedness?
He proceeds to pin you.
You know this this excessive passive aggressiveness. There's so much passive aggressiveness here, and you wonder why I left.
Passive aggressiveness came about after you left, abandoned your family and everything that you had been raised to believe.
Yeah, because it's boring. Ah, yes, we are superior, and dwarves are dumb, and humans are also dumb, and oh yes, everyone else. No.
And he's kind of going, and he's still kind of mad, but he's starting to slow down as he's really looking at you, and then he just goes, "We're doing a fire."
Which time?
Right.
You've been in multiple fires?
Yeah, but a recent one happened a couple weeks ago. I'm feeling better about it.
So what? Is this an adrenaline rush for you going into fires?
No, actually, this time I was trying to convince everyone else that we should probably leave because, you know, fire damage, kind of hurts. Fortunately, I was the one who was only affected. But I convinced everyone to leave earlier, so I think that's a win.
No good deed goes unpunished, huh?
No, it doesn't.
All right. About 30 minutes go by of basically this sort of back and forth before he's got everything kind of pinned and ready to go. All right, I'm gonna have a wise woman finish patching this thing up because it needs to be done quickly rather than in a normal amount of time. Let's just do. All right, let's get you out of this. On your way.
Okay.
Look, after this, I don't care if we ever speak again. But you will write to your mother. You will let her know you're alive.
Okay. I got something to make sure I can do that.
Huh?
Got something to make sure I can do that.
Paper.
Do I look like a sorcerer to you? You're the one hanging out in the human world. I assumed you'd have figured it out by now.
But I need something personal about the receivee to actually send something to them.
You need something personal from her?
Yes, I think so. Or the very least
From the area.
from the area, yeah.
You mean, like, say, a blood relative?
Alright. Are you gonna be in the next 2 days?
If I figure something out, I'll let you know. But I make no guarantees. I'm busy. And he'll take the clothes with him and leave after that.
Earn while putting on his shirt is like,
It's gonna be a long day.
I even tried. You know what? I even tried to prompt him for some way to do it, but no, he just goes on the attack again. Finally put the barriers down, but no, he keeps attacking.
Meanwhile, Idea, you're back at the clothing shop that you left.
Agent,
That's
was
wrong
Eric's dad,
with
right?
and but following that up.
Alright, I just have
Like,
two things to make
clarification,
comment.
this was Aaron's dad that he was talking to, basically, right? Just want to make sure that I correctly assessed that situation.
Yes.
Have fun at the dress shop, sweetheart.
I just have my two things to say about that is that, one, I think Tong would get along well with Ravina. And, two, it's a shame that Tong wasn't there because that would put some points into her perception of Erden.
Aaron.
Oh man. All right. So you're back at the dress shop, and Igraine is talking to the matron of the shop. They're talking about colors and so on that go with your complexion. Lots of things that Idea just like doesn't really understand.
Yes.
She's just like, why does it matter what color my hair is and what color my skin is?
Can I have slits like the Spartans? No, wait, I can't say that.
I could just imagine her asking that and the seamstress's eyes going wide like that's so inappropriate.
And Igraine's like, no, dear. Like, Igraine would have taken it out, like, not this time, dear.
Right.
I have to wear sleeves?
So, Igraine, Idea, come here, dear. She's like, calls you over, starts putting fabrics up against your skin. Ooh, not olive, not olive. Oh, take that away. Let's try. Let's do that light blue over there. Oh yes, that'll do nicely. Let's pair it with a softer green. That'll work. All right. See about lace.
So Daya's just gonna be quiet as she tries to think about all the things that she wants to ask about, and then thinks about for like 2 seconds and goes, "I really want to ask about that, but I'm pretty sure I can't ask about it."
Let's see.
Sorry.
Can we get something that pairs well with gold and rubies? Or garnets, which is something dark red.
Something dark red. Yeah, red will go with blue and green. Don't worry about it, dear. You sure you want a red stone?
What's that?
Sapphire. So good on you.
Are you sure you want a red stone?
Kind of. Like the one thing I get to bring with me from my culture that might not totally give me away.
Well, we'll talk in a moment. We're gonna get you fitted now. We're just gonna get you up on this dais. If we could take your outer garments off.
Adea doesn't question this too much and complies.
So we're gonna start measuring you. She'll do, from like shoulders down to ankles. She'll do your waist. She'll do your bust. She'll do your arm length up into your armpit.
None of these things are in the right place.
I have a feeling you will have
Right.
more sleeves.
And she's not touching you per se. She's just kind of measuring the length of what she's seeing. So you can see that it's a little short, but
Right.
at least in the arms and legs. You can see when she goes to do your bust and your waist, she does actually have to touch you for that. And there's a brief moment where you can tell she looks a little confused because she can feel that that's not where your bust is. She's like, because it's like below because of how tall you are. And you can see her going, like, that isn't right. Igraine just kind of whispers something behind her hand, and you see the woman move up for a moment without, like, any sort of, like, flinch, and then just let go and start writing numbers down.
They was about to look at a grain anyways, so she's happy she doesn't have to worry about this part. She can focus all of her efforts on behaving and not asking anything too outlandish.
Yeah. So once it's all done, she starts to cut pieces and she's starting to pin it into place, getting things done, and she's babbling away. I assume that Idea is not really paying attention to much of what this woman is saying. Igraine is just kind of smiling and nodding. She's not really responding a whole lot either.
Yeah.
While they are doing this and they're getting you pinned up and getting this dress made, another woman does walk in. She's a stunningly beautiful woman in some very lavish clothing. She's got long red hair that she's kind of got tied back in this sort of braid. Blue eyes. And she's talking to a serving woman with her. She's a plump older lady with like gray hair, kind of short and a little curly. The woman just kind of nodding as she listens to what this woman has to say. And they're clearly speaking in some sort of Celtic dialect.
Dea wonders if she's Kimry, but knows that A, she knows nothing of the language, and B, she's just trying to keep her mouth shut and not offend anyone.
After a moment, the serving woman will kind of wander off to another section of the store and start kind of rifling through some of the fabrics, while the noblewoman will kind of glance at some of the nearby ones, and then you can see that she's actually kind of watching you out of the corner of her eye. Like, she's not being very subtle about it.
As soon as Adea notices this, even despite her best knowing better, she stares her down.
When she realizes that, she just stares right back. Nonplussed.
Adea remembers that she's about a foot shorter than she normally is and much less intimidating.
Idea, can you give me a... this is one of the times it would be nice if I just had a character sheet sitting right in front of me. Wait, I can. Hold on. I think. Maybe. Documents. D&D. No. Nope. No. Hold on. I'm gonna just pull on enter one up on the internet. I don't know what it is I want.
I also keep in mind you did add some skills. In particular, you added appraisal, craft, decipher scripts, local, and nobility.
Yeah. Well, I know it's one of the ones that's on the we'll just kind of go with, well, let's go with perception.
Funny. Not natural, but
She's looking you in your real eyes.
Lovely.
Now Adea is intrigued. um, how does Adea respond here? Well, first she's going to be a little amused at the fact that this is like the third time today that she has managed to do this, and despite the fact that she's trying to hide herself, she A, didn't manage to do it, and B, didn't scare anyone. Or get comments that she didn't want. She's like, my whole strategy's not working here.
You're probably thinking, man, maybe my glamour wasn't as good as I thought it was.
They lied to me?
Sorry, none
Good
of us can
job.
help you. The only person that can help you is a grain.
That you do have a great.
Right. Does Adea recognize anything about this person that, considering that they can't actually see her regular self?
Anything you can notice about this person?
Yeah, any recognition of a ancestry, or it seems doubtful, but might as well ask.
Yeah, go ahead and give me a history.
Uh, 18.
She is very Celtic. She's got the Celtic features on her face. It's a little weird because usually they don't have red hair, so she's got to have something else. Maybe way down the family line or something, but she's got the features. She was speaking a Celtic dialect. You did recognize it as that lilting language. But you're not entirely sure like what part of the island she could be from, or even if she's maybe a mainlander. That's possible. The red hair could have come from the Gothic region. But having not explored it a whole lot, it's all kind of conjecture.
Yeah, that makes enough sense.
In Kishwunding, their Celtic is kind of got the rounder faces and like pale skin. They've got some pretty slender noses. Sometimes they can be a little bulbous on the end, but hers is not.
Considering that Adea doesn't really know what's going on, but she definitely has this woman's attention, and she definitely is seeing through the glamour. She attempts a polite good afternoon in Faye, as polite as she can figure out, at least. She's not, perfect at being the proper, but can be polite. And she's hoping she gets proper.
What language is she saying good afternoon in?
Hey.
Faye?
She still suspects because she's getting stared straight down to her actual eyes that.
The woman will smile and in Faye reply, good afternoon, before turning back to the fabric. This does catch Igraine's attention. She freezes, looks at you, Idea, and then looks at the woman. I'm back at you. The seamstress is totally busy, and Igraine just leans in and goes, I'm no language expert, but isn't that the special language? Did you
I don't know
catch
if you
that?
heard. I did. Adea just gives a uh-huh.
Gotcha. I did miss that. Oh, okay. Do you know her?
No, I took a wild guess. She stared me in the eyes.
Fascinating. Huh. And Igraine just kind of leans back and she still goes back to talking a little bit with the seamstress, but she is now definitely watching this woman out of the corner of her eye. There's a moment while you're getting fitted where the woman picks up what looks like silk, looks at the seamstress, and is just like, "Madam, did this come from the Silk Road?" In like flawless Latin. And the seamstress just kind of looks up and goes, "Oh yes, new shipment in yesterday. The finest silk. Are you interested in some?" "Perhaps." And she sets it down. Her serving woman has a piece of parchment out and is like scribbling notes as she's looking at this book. Igraine is definitely like watching with a narrowed eyes.
Yeah, Adea's attention has now been captured by, the fact that somebody else has also seen through her and who they are. She's trying her very best not to be direct and like constantly watching her, but she's definitely trying to pick up on any context clues that she can.
As she is moving about in this room, you have never seen anybody move with as much grace as this woman. She has very lithe movements, and it's almost like she's floating as she moves about things. And she touches everything very delicately. It's almost unnerving, just almost ethereal the way she moves about. And even her voice has this quality that reminds you of like a gentle breeze or the flowing water in a creek. Like it's very soft and yet powerful.
No, I kind of wish I did.
Dang it, why don't you have divine sense? Where's Aaron? Oh yeah, he's being stuck with me by his dad.
Right. Adea starts to wonder if she's like a nymph of some sort.
She does kind of give off of that nymph vibe that she would be familiar with.
Dryad or Naiad?
This is Adea's rolling theory. Somebody very intimately connected with nature.
Dryad is a wood nymph, Naiad is a... I was about to say, just ignore me as I'm shouting off random mythologies.
I was like, is it nymph or dryad? And I was like, nymph seems more general, which is good because Adea doesn't quite know yet.
Good. There's not enough space on this chair for you too.
All we can see is his tail.
The other option is just like
Adea's now trying to figure out if she knows any other languages that Igraine might know that we haven't already heard spoken. But that she doesn't feel good about her odds. He's like, we covered Latin, we covered Fey, and I think Greek and Slavic are probably out of the picture.
No, Grain definitely doesn't know those languages.
Yeah.
No,
Miss you.
do it anyways. Like, if she can speak those two, that'll be very informative, regardless if Igraine knows what's being said or not.
Right.
What would Idea do?
What would Idea do? Idea is trying very hard to behave herself right now.
Yeah. Mama Rada gave clear instructions. Behave yourself.
But something interesting is going
As soon
on.
as Idea can kind of subtly get the Grain's attention,
Mhm.
she'll kind of whisper to her, "You know what a nymph is?"
Yeah, I've studied them in my Latin classes as a girl. Why?
Are there Celtic nymphs?
Not exactly. I mean, there's spirits associated with various elements, but not in the same way as there are in Greek or Roman, if that makes sense.
That makes no sense. Okay. And Idea will just kind of leave a grain to think on that.
After a few moments, uh, the woman will kind of nod at her servant, set whatever the last dish was back on the shelf. She'll nod to the seamstress. I may return. Thank you. And the two leave.
One less mystery to solve while trying to, keep composure.
The seamstress goes, that's a very odd woman. I've never seen her in my shop before. You ever seen her before, Duchess? No. And I'd have assumed you'd have seen most of the nobility at this point. She's never been in the shop before? No? Not once? I'm surprised, though. The clothes she was wearing, she must be very rich. Wonder if she brought her own seamstress and some of those northern tribes can be a bit picky. But all right, dear, I think that's you all pinned up. This will take me some time to do. Don't worry about it. I will have the rest handled. You did wonderfully, though. I'll make sure to have all your pins returned to you when we're done. Uh, uh, of course, my lady. Oh, of course, your grace. I will help you get this off without stabbing yourself here, my lady. She'll kind of help you shimmy out of this pin cushion. She'll have the rest picked up and placed in a bag, and then Igraine will take it, and you guys will be on your way. Hey, so you wanted rubies or
A ruby or a garnet or something as a centerpiece, and might get this amulet formed up.
okay. The best shop is this way. I'm not sure.
Raw rubies are as well.
Garnets are normally a deeper red than rubies, depending on what shape you want. Are you probably right?
Doesn't take work in a true store.
All right. So you only go a few buildings down before you come to this sort of jewelry shop. And she'll lead you inside. There are some already made pieces in there, but there are also just places where there are just raw materials.
Mhm.
A gentleman comes out from the back and, Your Grace, pleasure to see you as always. And my lady? Yes, this is a friend of mine. She'd like a new piece for the wedding. And are we looking for something specific?
Something akin to a garnet or a ruby, even a raw ruby would be within parameter. Right
I have
idea.
many varieties. So I have um, have some green garnets. It's sort of orange. That are already cut.
Nothing of a deep red.
Deep red. I have an uncut garnet. Let's see. Hey, get out of my way so I can see the cost. Thank you. Okay, so it's about about 50 dinar for an uncut one. If you want me to cut it, it'll be 100.
How does that translate to gold pieces?
Dinar are the gold pieces. That's just
Oh,
the last name of, yeah.
um,
I think that's the
and
name
you
of the one.
make withdrawal from the bank, apparently. Right. I don't have the jar of dirt. Yeah.
You have a crystal, but you can.
I do have a crystal, yes. I have lots of quartz. All right. Uncut is fine, though it appears I will need to withdraw more funds.
Oh, no. Denarii or silver, sorry.
Ah.
So basically 50 silver or 100 silver for the garnet.
$5 or $10 gold.
So that's 5 gold pieces.
For uncut. 10 for cut.
Adeo will. Uncut is perfectly fine, and she'll pull out 5 gold pieces.
Using the typical
yeah.
D&D.
Yeah.
So it's 25 silver denarii to 1 gold.
Oh.
Aureus.
The 2 gold pieces.
garnets are not quite as. Now, if you want a ruby, yeah, if you want an uncut ruby, it'll be 1,000 denarii. If you want a cut one, it's 5,000 denarii.
Oh, that's still not that bad. I mean, 1,000 divided by 25 is 40?
Or not denarii, sorry. In this case, it's aureus. So,
Oh, geez.
yeah. Rubies are rare.
We are not pulling them from places that they're more common.
Well, remember, we're on an island that's made mostly of iron ore.
Fair.
They don't have a lot in the way of gemstones. They've got to have everything imported.
Yes. The garnet will do just.
You're all right with an uncut one?
Yes. She has her own plans.
You don't want it placed in anything. You just want the gemstone.
Just the gemstone is fine. I have some plans for it.
All right, sounds good. He'll pull out the garnet piece. He'll wrap it up in a cloth for you, and then he'll hand it over.
And Adea will hand over the payment, which I believe is 2 gold pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Pleasure doing business with you, my lady. Enjoy
You
the
as
wedding.
well. Thank you.
Mhm. All right. What's your passive perception again, Ida?
15.
15? Yeah, as you two are leaving the shop, you'll notice across the street, at just like a random street vendor, is that woman again. She seems to have just gotten some sort of pastry or whatever from this stall, and she's watching you again.
It'll be one thing if she wasn't paying attention to us, but now I feel like we're being followed. We could be followed by worse stuff, I think. I don't really know who's following us. I could be really wrong about that.
Be
That
perfectly
was the
honest.
last we ever
Going
saw
off
of
in my
you,
head.
Derry Green.
What was that?
And that was the last we ever saw of you, Derry Green.
Adea will kind of give a glance to Grain to kind of hint to her that they might be that they're at least being watched. But she'll ask her, "Do we how long do I have to prepare this?"
Sorry, what? You cut out.
As Adea is kind of motioning to Grain to trying to subtly motion to Grain to suggest that they're at least being watched, if not followed. She will ask, "How long do I have to prepare this, anyways?"
Um, 2, maybe 3 hours at most.
Well, that's plenty.
I think we're going to take a meandering route back to the inn, though. I don't know if I trust this woman. I'm not feeling like she's aggressive or threatening, but I am concerned that she seems to be here again.
I feel the
So,
same.
yes, scenic rabbit is.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, take the scenic route. We're gonna go back to our lovely friends at the hotel now. The inn.
We'll be back momentarily.
All right. So what are my friends at the inn doing?
Playing with Kador.
I think Rada and Brina like playing with the kids as much as they are able to. While Rada is keeping an eye like out the window, and when Tong is done conversing with the Tarpus, she'll also like join in with entertain the kids.
Um, while this is happening, Rhoda, you hear a whispered Rhoda. Can you hear me?
What language?
It is in Latin.
Oh, actually, oh no, it was. Can you hear me? So, Ituero? Yes.
It's Emrys. I had a vision, and I need I need you to stop the new queen from committing suicide. If she does that, it'll create a full-on war, and it'll cause more problems for us than we already have. Do not let her end her life.
Got it.
And then you'll kind of feel whatever that was disconnect.
Tong, we have a new job for you.
And Brina's gonna look up from where she's playing with the kids. Is like, new job.
Yes. Just got a message from Emrys. Saying he got a new vision and basically asking us to prevent the new queen from committing suicide.
The kingdom seems to have a lot of queens dying, or potentially dying. It's a little disconcerting. I'm sad that Emerson had another vision, because I know that the hot chocolate helped him recover from it last time. But I didn't leave any supplies behind for somebody. So hopefully he's doing all right. Save the new queen. Well, it's good that we're going to the wedding then.
Yes, and I can already see where this is, where you're asking me to do. Well, let's see, they're Saxons, so they don't necessarily have nobility in the traditional sense. They have more equivalent to chiefdom, so perhaps she'll be more tolerable than nobility normally. Yeah. Lovely. That means that I'll have to, at the very least, go speak with her. It's Saxon, so yeah, I should be able to communicate. That may come as quite a shock, and it would. I mean, our appearance is already going to draw attention as it is, but my ability to speak Saxon will be even more of a draw.
I wonder if it would be easier if I just played mute.
That is certainly an option, considering that people were trying to get away from you. Well, get away from us. Hmm.
I only speak two languages, and I always have to run tongues or or comprehend languages to be able to even understand other outside of our own party. I just have to the Duchess of Grain.
Maybe it's time to get Duolingo.
I think we've already had enough of a murderous bird coming after us.
A murderous owl.
Which I happen to help with.
At least this time, so the last group that Dominic was in this universe, we had somebody trying to learn a language from the leprechaun, and that was not.
Just the phrase "learning a language from a leprechaun" sounds like a bad idea in the first place.
Well, I think it was Kelly's character
Of course it was.
that was trying to learn from the leprechaun because somebody else was the leprechaun. That was Lauren.
Yeah, no, this totally plays out. Because of course Kelly's character would be the one trying to learn from the leprechaun, and of course Lauren would be playing the leprechaun. Why do I feel like
Her leprechaun was hilarious because he was basically a frat boy.
Yes.
and why would I not be surprised if the first language lesson was literally all the swear words?
Yes, I can tell, and I try not to pay attention whenever you're speaking because while the spell makes it so that I can understand you, I hear it in Fey and Chinese at the same time.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's not a problem with you, it's the problem with the spell.
You didn't create this spell. Whoever did was dumb.
Yep.
Wait,
Honestly,
is that the spell? Is that the spell for the speaking stones that we have? That does that to Tom?
Tong never had the stones.
Right. So what spell is it that causes you to hear it in duo?
Tongues.
Wow.
It, the spell tongues and comprehend languages have that effect with me. I mean, with written stuff, it like shifts it into both languages, but I can still read them for some reason, and it just gives me a headache. And I already have to wear glasses for reading normally.
You wear glasses?
Yes. I absolutely forgot to explain to you what these were, since you asked them the first time, pulled them out, and she'll pull out her reading glasses.
Oh, those are glasses?
Yes.
Oh.
I've been at the library for so long and have read for many years that my eyes have grown tired and it hurts to read sometimes. And these make it less painful.
Makes sense.
Um,
Do you have any pointers on what I should do to just act mute so that I don't mess anything up? Like, is there like a weird, like, gesture that I could do that would be of your homeland that would make sense, at least to you, and effectively disguise me as being foreign?
Mm. Well, I would say that if you were to greet someone, you would bow. Like, and you bow at the hips. You know, don't bow with your back. Bow with your hips. But don't just there's a certain depth
Okay.
it would be. Don't want it to be too deep because, well, I think since you're not used to it, you would fall over. And this guy is not an emperor, so you don't get on your knees and bow 3 times.
I'm feeling Airden would take offense to that, even if I tried. Brina's gonna like scramble up and like try bowing from her hips. It's like so about like she's like maybe a little bit of an angle, but not like fully right angle to the ground.
No, so, Tom will stand up and do the a more proper bow. So,
Okay.
yeah, and when if Brina tries again, Tom will go over and just
Adjust.
adjust her as need be.
Okay. Thank you. I think I'll practice this and hopefully a smile will have people just understanding I don't talk. Oh, if I may ask, do you understand anything from the money?
From the what? Pardon?
From the pink stuffed bunny?
It's a headache. It's from the future, but it's also not. Like, if you thought my time travel situation was confusing, this thing's even more.
That might be an understatement. A very large one.
Gotcha. What are we going to do with the bunny when we go to the wedding?
I'll keep it with me since apparently it knows who I am, and when the person it belongs to arrives, since that seems to be an inevitability, I will return it and maybe introduce myself?
If you need to help carry it, I can.
Give it as a gift to the queen.
And I have made sure that it will stay quiet. Well, if it says anything, it will say it to me, to my mind.
That sounds like a good idea.
The bunny will just
I think in a way, like I'm Rita's not as phased by that because she's so used to talking to animals that she's like, okay, so slightly different. They're kind of the same, except everybody can hear it, and it's not a regular bunny. Okay, but it talks.
I mean,
Whereas Isalin's like, the what?
I mean, really, the only difference between me and this thing is that this thing appears to be an inanimate object. I remember you had a very similar reaction when I first spoke.
Yeah, I guess I did. I'm just so used to being able to say hi to all the creatures and ask their names. Oh, did the bunny tell you its name?
It did not, but I didn't ask since that.
sexy.
Hmm?
But Jen?
Sexy.
Brina just
Or
staring
her
at the bunny.
ladyship.
What?
Or her ladyship.
Ladyship, if you don't mind. The other name feels like it's a little bit more of a name from somebody else, and I think that one's a special name that maybe I shouldn't use since I don't know them very well yet. Brina.
Yes, and when we are there, you will refer to me as Wei Feng, and Rada, you refer to her as. Well, I just need to double check since I recently realized that the pseudonym I initially had for Rada was actually Arabic and not Persian, so I had to change it.
Embarrassing.
I know, I didn't do my due diligence.
I have a story about Persian and Arabic from work.
Why is my phone so slow?
They needed to make sure some of the stenciling was right for one of the Arabic customers. They're closely enough related languages that they asked one of the members of my team who spoke Persian to check it because
Makes sense.
we needed to have him.
So cool that you have a team member that speaks Persian.
Two of them from the previous team.
Ah, yes. I was gonna say I was confused because I didn't think you had anybody on your current team that did, but
Okay, here we go. Finally, it loaded in.
The most foreign person on my current team is a dual citizen Canadian American.
Yeah, you will refer to Rada as Mavish. Mavish Rostrum.
but Mavish with a V or Mavish with a B.
Let me put it in the roleplay.
Thank you.
I get the feeling it's with a V that sounds like B.
Mavash. I just want to double check that I got Tong's pseudonym correct.
Or what should I expect to be called, rather? Since I guarantee you, Brina Torin does not sound like it's from your homeland. Doesn't sound like it's from your either.
Alright.
I almost said that spelled correctly. I'm proud of myself.
I had Wei Fong spelled correctly.
So, if you need to get to either of our attentions, either one of those will have to do. So yeah, I have to come up with one for you. We'll just, because I am not that creative on short notice. Just go Heiser.
No.
Rada looks at her, Tong, like, pretty sure that's what you call a Dea. And it works. It fits. At least on short notice. It's accurate. At least how she'll be disguising herself. And my perceptions of her.
Rada, you're making it sound like Kong didn't give me a nice name. I like how it sounds. I have no idea what it means, but I like how it sounds.
It means child.
What was the name?
Heiza.
Heiza.
Hija?
Yeah,
Heiza.
As
yeah. So
Zuh.
she's basically temporarily giving Idea's nickname to Brina.
It is. Name is now my code name.
Okay.
I don't even mind the short note. The aspect that I look like a child to most people. I do think it sounds pretty. Thanks, Tom.
You're welcome. And Gausha will appear from the pocket dimension, land on Tong's shoulder, and say, yeah, "My lady, are you sure that you want to go by that name? That is a male name." "It'll do fine, Gausha. No one here knows that."
Yeah, it's fine.
And besides, the only people that would notice would be anyone that's been to the Library of Alexandria.
Why do I have a feeling that that's no one on this island other than you?
do you know how many random people we've run into who know random things that they shouldn't today?
Good point.
I mean, the first person Tom runs into.
The second, if we're lucky.
Yes.
So, after what seems like an extraordinarily long time, Idea and Igraine do make it back to the inn. Those of you who've been in the inn, you're probably like, okay. And not even probably. The nursemaid has definitely been going, okay, they should have been back by now. Where are they? And is like looking out the window. A bit concerned as she's like holding this baby.
As I'm like, I'll be late if you want me to, but I understand your distress.
Eventually, they do make it back though.
Well, you certainly took your sweet time.
Sorry, we were being followed.
Well, that's
We were not followed, I think.
We hope.
by one of the guards.
Who was maybe following you?
Gothic lady who stared me in the eyes.
Other one?
Wait.
Wait,
Study which
wait.
set of eyes? Your glamour eyes or your real eyes?
The real ones.
That's concerning.
People. Hey,
They just shrugs.
That's why we took the scenic route.
So I was starting to worry. You're not just saying that, are you? Okay.
you're very good today, and so I'm really surprised.
Okay, so
Excellent.
what did these people look like? This person.
Red hair. Grain said that she looked pretty rich based off of her clothing. She kind of drifted, floated. She reminded me of rushing rivers.
All right. What direction does the window face in this room? So presumably there is a window.
Yeah, it faces sort of northeast, so you can see the stables and part of the road.
All right. Can Rada see anyone of that description from there?
Bum, 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 bum.
Pretty sorry, jar of dirt.
No, you
Again.
see one horse standing before several others, as almost like it's a council meeting.
No. You don't see anybody of that description outside.
Brina will dig out her jar of dirt and hand it to Idea. It's like, just as long as I get it back.
Adea will put a crystal into the jar of dirt.
Oh, and Rada, don't you have some news to tell? Yes, Imlis said he had got another vision, and asked us to prevent the death of the new queen.
Oh,
Like,
the new queen.
to prevent her from committing suicide, specifically.
Oh, okay, that's fair. I mean, let's face it, Igraine has absolutely no
Regard.
no. Considering that the man tried to rape her, she's like, yeah, if I were her, I'd want to commit suicide too instead of marrying him.
It's like, no, I get it. I get it.
I'm just wondering how long it's going to be until we start to frame Gilder for it.
And he says
What?
that if she does, there would be an even worse war.
Well, yes, because then the Saxons will somehow manage to blame the Vortigern, and the Vortigern will somehow blame the Saxons. So they'll start an infight. And then Agnes will have to fix it all. Shh. It's okay.
Idea's trying to make a withdrawal from the Bank of Hades, by the way.
Yes. I don't actually have notes of how much gold I have in the bank of me. I don't know why.
Because the DM specifically told you not to worry about it.
Sounds about right. All I have written down is my account number.
And your security question?
No, I don't remember what that is. Although I bet if I looked in my DMs, I could find it.
Yes, and I guess whom is going to be taking the doing the most for this particular request. One person in this group who is posing as a noble that can speak Saxon.
Oh, I can speak Saxon.
Tong will switch to Saxon. Oh, really? You can?
One of my best friends is Saxon.
Oh, yeah, they offered. They were the one that pulled the boys out of the freezing lake.
Yeah. She'll pull out her invitation while she's having that conversation. She looks at it and she starts kind of whispering in Celtic, or in Druidic. Because Igraine's amazing and rolled a nat 20. She makes perfect replicas of the invitations for everyone. She picks one of them up and she goes, damn, I'm good.
Eridan's not even here. He's excited.
Nah, just me as the player. I just keep seeing Igraine do a lot of things successfully. I'm just thinking, is she the MVP of this whole situation right now? Is she the MVP of this whole arc?
At the moment, yeah.
Well,
I don't have a problem with it.
well, I think the heavy lifters of this arc are the people that can speak Saxon.
Which is all 3 of our group.
I think so.
Adea will get to pretend like she's the MVP if she doesn't cause any problems.
They're at least going to be the heavy lifters.
Just to let you know, idea. I'm going to be playing mute when I'm helping Tom because everybody was running away from me when I was trying to talk to him earlier.
Here's what you can do: is that since Gausha will be basically restrained to the pocket dimension, you can 1 provide bardic inspiration, and 2 the help action. Since we keep forgetting about those.
That's true. Those are super handy.
Yeah,
Well, Bardic Inspiration, I remember. What's the help action?
You give it someone advantage.
Yeah.
No. How do I remember that?
Why do you think I was telling you to have advantage on those, what were the charisma checks? Last
Yeah,
session?
the
Rada was providing you the help action.
gotcha. Okay. I just thought I would warn Idea about that so that she wasn't confused when I didn't say much back.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Thanks.
So-
Smiling and growing.
I need
We're
to
gonna-
withdraw gold and cast a fabricate spell. Are there any laws against using gold as
Are you trying to use your money to make the jewelry?
don't have any other gold on me?
I mean, no, there's nothing saying you can't do that.
No monetary defacement law this time.
Yes.
But thank you for asking.
Who's going to enforce it?
Probably none of us.
I mean,
More
the
than
only
yours.
it's like the only noble woman in this room is a druid and doesn't really care about monetary value.
She also just forged a bunch of invitations to a royal wedding. She don't care.
None of us are innocent in this room.
Tong doesn't believe that currency should have been created, since it has no real value at this time.
And yet she inspires them to create taxes on the island of Macau.
No, she didn't. Here's the reason there aren't any taxes.
Okay, thank you. I was gonna say it's like, wait, no, that sounds wrong.
That's why there are no taxes yet.
Gotcha.
Assuming Idea just put in the 4,400 copper pieces we got when we initially created our accounts,
Counts.
that doesn't actually come out to 1 gold. It takes 7,200 copper pieces to equal 1 gold, if my notes are correct. So,
Yeah, copper pieces, they're kind of like pennies. They have very little value.
They have more value if I turn them into something.
Nope.
Now, what I think is that since our group will be drawing a lot of attention from ourselves as being me, and Rada looking Persian, I think we should go in staggered. Like, either you, Duchess and Heiser go first, or the 3 of us go first. And
I think that's a nice decision.
Wait, I thought I was Kaisen.
Maybe I just did deposit my copper.
Ra will whisper to Brina, like, pretty sure she's referring to Ide at this moment.
Oh,
We're not
that
going
makes more
by
sense.
we're not going by the pseudonyms just yet, but like probably when we get outside, start using them.
that makes more sense. He calls Idea a child?
I mean, I don't disagree with her on that view, or on that front. She does act very childish.
She's doing her best.
She still acts like a child most of the time.
Did I make Jen review her notes from long, long ago?
But Tom will take one of the replicate invites and well, suppose we'll wait here for a little bit before we go. Yeah, give Ide enough time to fabricate her jewelry.
What's the idea?
And actually, before I forget, and Tong will cast prestidigitation on her clothes to make them all nice. Should do the same thing for Rada. Not going to do it to Brina because pretty sure that Brina has prestidigitation.
Yeah. I wouldn't say it's like watching Tong do that. I'll look at myself and be like, oh yeah, that would be a good idea. Do the same thing so that I look more in line with Tong and Rada.
Fair enough. All right. I think we're all set.
As long as I have enough gold to actually fabricate my piece of jewelry, which I have no clue if I do or not.
How much do you have you're using?
I have 30 on me, and I don't know if how much is in my bank account to withdraw.
Because you said that you would keep that information for him.
Where did I write that? Problem is that I have too many notebooks and I need to really just consolidate everything. Happens
Yeah,
like every
a quick check of my back and forths with you suggest that I gave you the security question 2 years ago, a little more than that.
Wow.
I still haven't come up with Rada's.
Fine. And I stuck it in my notes so that I didn't forget it, along with my account number.
It's been 2 years, and you haven't come up with the security question yet.
Nope.
Oh, here we go.
Put all the copper in there.
2,000 copper is what you put in there.
I just put all the copper in there. Awesome.
The funny thing is I have this page dog-eared in here, and on one side it has all your money, and on the other side it has all your passive perception.
Although I seem to remember silver is more valuable in the Fey world than gold.
It is.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I exchanged silver for gold.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a conversion of 5 gold to silver.
Oh, good. I have 22 silver pieces.
Mm-hmm.
I can give him like 14 of them.
Debasing the currency.
I'd say you have enough just on you to make like a simple chain. And a very basic like holding spot for the gem.
But if I exchange upwards, I could make something closer to the intended amulet.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're definitely exchanging that silver for gold.
Yeah. Exchange can be made. All right. Once everyone has been beautified,
And
I'm
cast
not-
a fabricate spell.
Any data returns by Jared.
Also true.
Then the wet nurse will stay with the children, and the rest of you will go to the palace. There are huge crowds gathering around the palace now. The courtyard is filled with more of the common folk. They're here for a party. And they're going to be doing all of that sweating and celebration and everything. If you're nobility, you go into the palace. So there are a few guards there, and they are checking the invitations as you come. They're basically just checking to see that you have one. So you guys are easily all let through, as you all have your invitation, and you are led to the great hall where, as you can imagine, it's a huge open hall. There are rows and rows of chairs set up. Not everybody is sitting. A lot of them are talking to each other right now.
Trying not to be distracting.
You're good.
This is where the trial was held, wasn't it?
Yes.
Ooh.
So I'm looking around like, I remember this place. But not saying it out loud, just more of like a mental, like, yep. Lots more chairs.
Tonga is going to look for the young woman that she was speaking with earlier. Not necessarily sit with her, but just be like, make sure that she knows she's here. Let me use that connection while I still have it.
Okay. Check it. So it's gonna take us. So the number of gold pieces that you use to make the chain and the hold, that's how much it's going to cost. So it's going to be an equal number of gold pieces.
Yes, I was more curious about what you would suspect with the reference to them.
Oops. So we were saying, how many did you say you had on you?
30.
100 after I exchanged the silver.
Okay. To melt it down.
Really do.
I'd say that you probably have about 40 of them left over by the end.
Excellent. Thank you.
Okay. Anyway, yes, you get in this room. There's lots and lots of nobility in here, and they're very, very fancy best speaking with each other. And I will say that Erden is already in there and playing on one corner of the room. There are other musicians there as well. So basically having you guys kind of figure out how to play with each other, winging it, so to say.
Jam session at the Royal Royal.
I mean, you'd be surprised that that's often how the troops and things were formed.
Mm-hmm.
So there's someone on a flute, someone on a lute, and someone on a Saxon lyre.
How do they feel about this banjo?
Other than looking at its size.
The lute player is very skeptical of this thing.
If Erden is anywhere near where everyone's coming in, Rada will point Tong in his direction, and Tong will say into his mind, we were contacted by Emrys. We were contacted by Emrys. He's had a new vision and wants us to prevent the Saxon Queen from committing suicide.
Or like Ern already started. Looks like she's bracing itself the moment you say Emrys. Just like, so it doesn't impact. So moment hearing that, it's just like it's not. It doesn't immediately become obvious that he's noticed. He just kind of nods a little and then keeps playing. And then he actually thinks, "Can I respond back?"
I'm pretty sure not. Let me just double check the telepathic feat. It's telepath. You can speak telepathically to any creature you can see within 60 feet of you. Your telepathic utterances are in a language you know, and the creature understands only if it knows that language. Your communication doesn't give the creature the ability to respond to you telepathically.
Okay, so Ern does that for a second, and then makes eye contact and tries to just mime, just like, give me a moment. I gotta think about this.
He'll hear. Just nod if you acknowledge.
Ern nods.
Has our mysterious Celtic woman followed us again?
What?
Has our mysterious Celtic woman followed us again?
I'm glad you asked. You get to catch a glimpse of red hair out of the corner of your eye. You know that braid. She doesn't even look like she changed. She's still wearing that blue gown. And her servant is nowhere to be seen. She's having a conversation with some nobleman that you've never met before.
Well, at least we know what company we're in. I would say at least we're in good company, but I have no clue of knowing if that's true or not.
Also, I re-rolled performance for 21. In case that matters at all.
Yeah, no. The band strikes up. The lute player is the weakest member of all of you. The flute player is doing pretty good. The lyre player is almost as good as you. Though part of it may be that of all the players that are there, you two are the Saxons, and so the moment you strike up whatever song it is you start with, she knows it, so she's like, oh, okay, yeah, cool. And can immediately just, harmonize with you because she's like, yeah, I know this song. The rest of them are just kind of like, okay, got it. The flute player looks like they are Celtic. And the lute player looks like they might have come from the mainland. Like, they strike you as very Roman. Shocker.
Not gonna lie, Rena notices the flute player and is just like, kind of like watching, trying to see. It's like, I wonder if getting to talk to the musician would be helpful, but I have a feeling that that will not be a thing I can do. Dang it.
I mean, other than the fact that you're supposed to be mute, there's no reason you can't talk to her.
Right.
I'm supposed to be acting, no, consorting.
Well, the two language she does know might also be a problem.
Yeah. I can gesture with the best of them. Roha taught me well. She talks with her hands all the time.
It doesn't take long before Tong, you hear, oh my goodness, you made it.
I love how my skin just like cringed. Like, great.
Yes, the moment they hear the trio, subconsciously do the do that. And it's yes, I did manage to get myself invited in the end.
Well, of course, only the best of the best are here. They've got some Raffinarati party going out in the courtyard. Sure, that'll be a nightmare later.
Oh, I am sure it will. But it is certainly an interesting assortment of musicians that have been invited.
I know. 2 heathen players and an islander. At least I managed to get one Roman citizen.
Yes, but it sounds like he's the worst of them all at the moment. At least.
Well, can you blame them? They're playing heathen music.
So I know what's going on, and I'm just smiling and like I just bow when like I feel like she came up behind us and the three of us like turned simultaneously to look at her.
Yeah, basically.
And so it's like I know I bowed, and now I'm just trying to keep a smile on my face, but it's a stretch because it's like he's very rude, very rude. Oh, great.
Not no.
And yeah, no, not no.
I know you're new to this area, so there's somebody you must meet. Come on. And she'll like take her by the hand and just like lead her.
Rada and I are following.
Yep. Yeah. Presumably the woman taking Tong by hand is just like looking forward. So in the moment while she's like distracted, like Tong like looks back at the other two. It's just like the fake like, yeah, this is going well smile.
I'm matching the smile as well as I go. I just follow. I'm like, oh crap.
To a gentleman. He's tall and lean. He's wearing what looks like decorative armor. And she comes up and she says, Sir Ector, it is so good to see you. I'd like to introduce you to a new friend of mine. And the man turns around. Very tall. He also has shockingly red hair. and he's got a mustache and basically like a goatee, so it kind of wraps around. Think like Iron Man-esque without all
I
the
was
fancy.
thinking Doctor Strange. Mhm.
Yeah.
He just kind of looks at her and he's like, "Ah, Erwin, pleasure as always. What poor soul are you dragging over here?"
Uh, I am. I am Wei Fang. Dobin Beihai Provinca, so, Lady of Beihai Province.
Order. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you. Sir Ectorius, if you could bother to get to the end of my name, lady. He said, glancing at the other woman before he takes your hand and gives it a polite kiss. Did you come all this way just for a wedding?
Well, truth be told, no. I came here on a somewhat secretive mission to learn more things and to, uh, well, to learn as much as I can and become more valuable as a person, being the eldest daughter of my father, who has no sons of his own.
Ah, I see. The I need to get away before they marry me off.
In part, but also to make my knowledge something more of a precious commodity.
I see. Be nice if more young ladies tried to do more than just needlepoint. Again, he's kind of looking down at Aaron. You're getting a very strong impression that he really does not like this woman and that she brought you over probably in an attempt to make herself look good to him. Like
Strange you are.
she very much wants this night.
Ah, but it's Erwin has been such a lovely dear in showing me your wonderful city. Well, and
She
she's given
might
me an
be
introduction.
the three girls and Beauty and the Beast.
Probably not my city. I live up north. A little ways. My father was given a large sum of land from the king. Hence the Sir. I inherited his title once he passed. Feel it's quite unearned. But hey. I take advantage of this while I can. Oh, please. Of course you deserve this title. Yes, just like you deserve yours, lady. Please, you get it.
Please, those that were born into nobility are, of course, deserving.
Or what?
I said, those of us born into nobility are, of course, deserving of our titles. Who would have them otherwise?
So, did a pair of pants just ignite or something?
Yes.
Did earthquake go off somewhere else?
I can make that happen.
Hey, well, thing is, her pants can't be lit on fire because she doesn't wear pants.
So the question is she using a very specific tone as she's doing this?
um, she is She is giving off the impression that she's trying to convey what she thinks a noble is. So she is not doing it in a, yeah, this is what I think. Well, this is not what I think as myself. This is how I think nobles think of themselves.
Okay. Just thought I'd check because I'm gonna have him do an insight. As you say this, she's just rolling with it. She's like, "Oh, see, of course we're deserving," and he gives you this like smirk as he's like trying to like hide that he's laughing at this woman who's clearly not understanding the conversation actually happening between the two of you.
Oh no, we already have memes to explain the session out of context, and the session's not even done yet.
I blame you. And I know I have the names wrong, but still. That is totally inspired by Dominic's observation.
That's hilarious. There, I'll give you your name.
Thank you.
Basically. You know, Erwin, why don't I take your friend off your hands for a little while? You have plenty of other friends you need to be greeting. And I think we have much to discuss. Her smile falters for a moment. Oh, well, I can't just abandon her.
No, really, you can't abandon her. She can't abandon her. Well,
I'm just gonna like bow towards Erwin and then like gesture towards Rada and myself. It's like we can take just basically trying to gesture, we can take care of her lady.
See? Her ladies in waiting will be here. It'll be fun. Thank you, dear. Actually, like physically around and like push her to like a group of women. And she kind of stutters but isn't able to say anything as he like quickly gestures for you to like follow him.
She'll fall over. It's like, yeah, that was incredibly rude.
I don't know if you've ever had a long conversation with Erwin, but she is an airhead. And I am doing you a favor. I am so tired of her trying to convince me that I really want to marry her, because I really don't.
May I make an insight check on this? Because, well, I, as a player, believe him. Tong would just be not initially. Okay.
How far away of the front conversation happening?
Far enough that you can't hear it, but close enough that you can see them. Erden, I want you to make a knowledge local check.
18.
Okay.
18? Oh, he is 100% sincere, and you can, like, even hear the, like, relief in his voice as you are walking away from this woman.
Yes, that was the she'll go into a more natural yes, I got the impression that was the case.
And trust me, she's not a high enough ranking noble for me to give any cares in the world to her. Not because I think that rank matters, but because I can be as rude to her as I want and have repercussions because she doesn't matter.
Wow.
Could you remind me again how knowledge local specifically works? Is it just to find intelligence, or does it have...
So it's one of those extra. It's an intelligence check. If you don't have any ranks in it, which, you know, the points or whatever, if you haven't put anything in it, or proficiency, that's what it is in this. Sorry. Ranks is 3.5. If you don't have proficiency in it, then it's just going to be a straight intelligence, basically.
Okay. So, kind gonna hope for proficiency because that only comes out to 13.
You see this man that they're walking off with, and there's something familiar about him. You don't think you've ever actually seen this guy, but you think you've heard a description of somebody who looks like this, and it's like niggling at you that you have an idea of who this might be.
Okay.
Huh.
So,
Like,
if
not having memory here, but
you,
also some kind of thing.
I am obviously not from here, so what is the significance of your noble position?
I don't know if you could really call me a noble. I'm a knight, and I simply inherited the title from my father. So essentially, I'm very at the very bottom of this tier system we have here. I am rich enough to have my own land, but I'm still subject to uh, earls and dukes and kings and all of that.
And yet you claim that you can get away with not quite disrespecting her, despite the fact that she is a daughter of an earl?
The thing is she's simply a daughter of an earl. If she were the son of the earl, it'd be a whole other matter. She's not even the first daughter of the earl. She's the youngest of like 6. She has nothing going for her. In fact, I know her father, and her father is a bit of a gambler. I doubt she has a dowry at this point.
Hmm.
Rita's smile has slipped down her face as he keeps talking because she's like that he didn't like how rude she was being. But he seems to be rude to her too. I'm just gonna
Back to force smile.
no, my smile's gone. I'm just gonna try and look plain.
Not that a dowry matters to me at all. Like I said, I pretty much just be me. Which is great because around the rest of these people, I have to be tougher and pretend like I care.
Hmm. So, what is your opinion of everything that has happened? I have heard a great number of rumors. Some
There are
good,
a
some
great
bad.
number. Well, are we looking for an honest opinion or the opinion that everyone should be spouting because it is our duty to support our king?
Sure. Mm, uh, I want your honest opinion, and she'll say this with a. She'll say it more quiet, like.
Well, my honest opinion is that the king is a jackass and he is ruining any chance we have of keeping this country together.
From what I've heard from my ladies in waiting, they seem to have a similar opinion.
I can find many who admit out loud that they hate him, but once you get a little liquor in everyone, true opinions fly. Besides, I'm of the opinion that he is responsible for his family's demise.
This is certainly interesting information. I still, there are still questions I have about you, but those are not for the current time.
Fair enough.
Is there
Well,
anyone
like,
that I should be made aware of? I mean, she promised to show me who was truly to speak with.
hmm. Well, there's you. The knights are generally your best bet. We're loyal to each other, but not necessarily the king. There are a few Saxon leaders here. The leader of the wise women is over here, and he kind of points to the far end. She's a woman in a bright red dress. Powerful, though. I'd be careful. I don't know much about Saxon magic, but I've been told not to mess with the wise woman.
Tong will say in Saxon, I know enough.
Impressive.
Well traveled. Well traveled and educated.
Making a friend.
Another one I recommend is Duchess of Grain. Lovely woman. Adore her and her husband. Shame you couldn't be here.
Yes, I have met her out in the streets.
You.
Mm.
Well, they're certainly some of the best you'll meet. Her husband and I are quite good friends. We did have a mutual friend in the king's late brother. But, well, as you can imagine.
So hearing that he was good friends with Gorlois and knowing that he is a part of the army out that way,
Mhm.
so she's going to say it telepathically. So are you hypothetically someone that would be loyal to this hypothetical rebellion that's going out west?
He was not expecting that. He physically like jumps and he's like, "What?"
And it's just no need to be worried. I have my own reservations about Gorlois, but I have spoken with him.
He leans forward. You know Gorlois. Like you talked to him recently.
I was gonna say, Brina's gonna nod very carefully. I don't know if he's actually paying attention to me at all. He's probably not, but I'm gonna nod anyway.
She'll say that my my entourage is more familiar with him than I. But yes, I have spoken with him.
When you say the rebellion, you're talking about the Pendragon?
Tong will nod.
So the Pendragon's are real. Huh.
I don't know the significance, but
Oh, it's very significant. I'd like to talk more after the wedding where it's safer.
well, come find me if I'm not busy trying to meet with people.
Will do. Pleasure to meet you.
And as they are parting, she will say telepathically, "My real name is Tong."
Give like a little salute as he walks off. I was like, got it.
Not used to this telepathy thing.
Well, the funny thing is, so I mean, entirely human. He has no interaction with the magical side of anything. So yeah, he's gonna be like, "What the hell was that?" He's like, smiling on, boys, smiling on.
Smile away, boys. Smile away.
Alright, and for Brina's benefit, Tom will have a genuinely pleased look on her face. Right? She looks very pleased with herself.
Yeah.
She got information, made a friend, and totally mind screwed him.
She didn't make a
She
friend.
smile. I feel
Yeah, she didn't make a friend. She just made a contact.
Exactly.
Reno, on the other hand, as she sees Tom smile, it's like she will match it with another with a natural smile. It's like, okay then, you did make a friend. At least I think that's what.
So about this moment, there are some trumpets that herald from the entrance, and two Saxon men walk in. They're very large, burly men. They're wearing very rich furs. Their hair is braided. One is blonde, one has darker, it's almost like sandy color. It's closer to brown than it is to blonde. Both have blue eyes. The blonde one looks very much, Erlen, like Rowena. As they're heralded in, there is an announcement announcing Chief Horsa and Chief Hengist. The people that nearest them, bow or curtsy. And they don't really stop to talk to anyone. They just head up to the front of the aisle and take seats in the front row and start kind of talking low to each other. They're on the same side as you, Erden, where you're playing. They do look over at you and your band, and they nod pretty, appreciatively, and it's like, oh, not bad, not bad. But they're just kind of whispering to each other.
Yeah, Ern kind of like nods back a little bit, but also when they showed up, he kind of changed the tune just a little bit and just kind of played to himself like a bit of a military march or something.
Nice.
I think that's a few.
The trumpets herald again. The
This
shrine
is
people
what
taking their seats.
Get seats.
Mm-hmm. So Green will kind of make eye contact with probably Rada, because Rada's got the best perception, and just kind of like nod to come over to where she's at.
Alright, Ra will I basically like do the bodyguard like, alright, this is where we need to go.
Mm. As everyone takes their seats, the trumpets herald one more time, and the guard at the front, or the seneschal at the front, says, entering the Vortigern. And Constance comes in, and he is decked out to the tees. He's wearing a rich red velvet. He's got a long trailing cloak. He's got this big gold crown on his head. Shiny black boots. Is just exuding this royal thing. Hold on. I'm gonna go turn the air conditioner.
And Ern's kind of like standing there just holding himself back, playing like the Benny Hill theme.
Like,
what theme?
The Benny Hill theme.
Mm.
I don't know what that is.
Look it up later.
Okay.
He comes to stand. He comes in not by himself, but with what looks like some sort of priest. For a lot of you, you probably don't recognize it as recognize him as a religious leader because usually religious leaders are not so ornately dressed. They're usually more
Subdued.
subdued, yeah. But this guy has got golds and whites and this big fancy hat and a big old cross on it.
Player me knows this is likely a bishop.
Mm-hmm. And the both go up to where there is an altar set up, and they stand there. There's hush tones. There's a lull in the music as the player goes, all right, y'all know the wedding march? Yes. And as the wedding march starts, the audience rises back to their feet. And Rowena is led in. Considering that she'd been pitching a fit earlier, or then she really does look quite stunning in the dress as it is completed. The one thing that has been added that you didn't see before is that she has this incredibly long lace veil and train that's basically going to be the whole length of the aisle there. As she gets up to the altar and all of that. Once she gets up there, everybody takes their seats again. And the band can take a seat in the front row next to the two section chiefs.
I imagine neither me or the liar players pushed forward to like deal with them first compared to the mainlander. It's like, no, I don't want to deal with them.
I'm not sitting next to them.
So you can sit next to your heathen brethren.
The ceremony. So the wise woman that had been shown earlier does come up to the altar as well. The ceremony is done in both Latin and in Saxon. So the wise woman basically translates everything that the priest says. They do a hand fasting. Share a drink from the cup. It's all said and done. They're married. And then servants come in and open the doors, and they start leading everybody into another room. So they're going to take you guys down to a ballroom where they have a huge feast set up along the edges of the room, and then there's a big open dance area.
They have to dance.
So as you guys are being led out, Igraine will lean over to Rod and be like, so I see you guys met Ectorius. How was that?
Seems it went a lot better than with the Earl's daughter.
Ah, yes, I saw you with Erenwyn. I'm so sorry you had to deal with that.
Well, admittedly, after we first met her and had gone away from her, I admit she wanted to throw up after speaking with her.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I get the impression she's not all that thrilled with nobility in general.
No.
I'm just shaking my head.
Well, maybe her opinion will change with Victorious. You didn't hear this from me. But the reason that he keeps turning down all of these noble women is because he is secretly in love with a commoner.
Scandalous.
Oh, very scandalous.
Ronald gives her a side smile before giving this information to Tong in Persian. Interesting. Before just following the crowd.
Scandalous. It's even the blacksmith's daughter. Yeah, so the only table that is definitely for certain folks, they have a high table where the new married king and queen are at, along with Hengist and Horsa. Igraine has to go sit up at that table, as she is a duchess. Next highest ranking nobleman here.
Does her
And
guest go with her?
Huh?
Does her guest go with her?
No, you'll be joining the rest of the throng at the tables along the edges.
Uh-huh. Or now no else for a day.
The only
People
other
think
two at
this is-
the table are the bishop and the wise woman. There's a different set of musicians here. That are basically just playing background music while everyone's eating. The musicians who played at the wedding, are allowed to come in and join the feast with the nobility. The nobility do approach you and praise you for your playing. And all of that. Erden, you in particular get approached by more Saxons than you do other nobles. They seem to recognize that you had been leading the way because most of the music that had been played prior was Saxon, and they very much appreciate hearing songs from their home.
Songs from home, little changed up with due to the different instruments.
Your father is here amongst the rest of them, but he has not approached you again. Very much pointedly not looking at you.
Since I was at least in a corner of the room earlier, did I see him at least before the wedding?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They look similar.
And I will say, for Rada and for Tooth, you guys do recognize that there's somebody there who looks a lot like Erden, but isn't Erden, and is kind of throwing you off. Like an older version of him.
Why is there an older version of Erden who's not using glamour right now?
Pretty much. Well, no, he's got a glamour up so that he doesn't look quite as elven.
Well, we can tell that.
He's just happy to let a little of it show.
Huh?
He's just happy to let a little of it show, or is it because Aridin could see through it?
You guys can see through it. So you can see it because the Elfheim realm, everything has just a little bit of a underlying shine to it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a little bit of a glow to their skin in general. So underneath his glamour, you can see that sort of ethereal glow. And his is stronger because if you keep in mind, Erden's only half.
Mm-hmm.
His father's full on elf. So not only does he look a lot like Erden, but he is definitely... Erden doesn't have that real shine to his skin. This guy looks like he glows from the inside out.
I roll a perception to see if I notice Erden's dad.
And even though Erden notices, he just lets his eyes just glance by because he has better things to deal with. And like when everyone's coming up to him, it's like, oh, it wasn't my best, or thank you very much, or
13.
13? Yeah, that's enough to notice that there's somebody in here with a glamour that isn't you guys. And so you can sort of catch that, and then you can see basically what I just described.
I kind of want to know how many other people are in glamours around here, honestly. I've run into too many at this point. I should probably be keeping track.
Yeah.
You know what?
And your favorite person is here. That Tuatha De Danann is here.
Ooh.
Yeah, like,
are there
Now
any
I've got my
other,
two favorite people from the day.
are there any other like standout people that Narada would notice? I am willing to roll a perception check.
Other stand-up people that Rado knows. Well, the red-haired woman's in here.
Okay. Well, does anyone else stand out to Rada?
I love how I asked the question and I answered it myself.
Yes.
I'm going to say, how did an apothecary's assistant and how did an apothecary end up at a royal wedding? Yeah, God's servant. No wonder.
You know, it just occurred to me that with how foreign we look, any Fae that are in the area, we basically become a magnet to because they can both see our Fae and see that we're not local Fae.
Well, the only
Maybe that's why we keep running into all of them.
Well, partially. Rada, Idea, and Erden.
Brina.
Glamour. Brina's got alter self.
I have alter self.
Ah.
Hi, Maggie.
Hi, Megan.
Yes, Rada, there is one other person that you noticed. There's a man there. And he does not seem to fit in here at all. He's wearing some very strange clothes. He's got this sort of white shirt with these huge ruffles at his throat. And he's wearing this weird suit, and he's got long, curly brown hair. And he's talking to some people, and they look very confused. Like, one of them is just prattling on, but the other one's, like, looking him up and down. And he's just like, what is happening?
How is there a way to not metagame going over there, or having Tong go over there?
I don't know if there is.
Because I'm pretty sure that's the position.
Yep, that's what I was thinking too. That there's the position. We have to go return her ladyship.
But how is there a non-metagamey way to do this?
Rada could point out to Tong that she saw somebody that looked
This person looks
more in a place than us.
Alright, so she's going to basically ask Tong, like, what if, she got a description of who this person is she's supposed to return the, rabbit to. And
Did you give them description? I forgot.
Tong will
I got
provide a
the record.
description. Does
White
that
ruffled
roughly
shirt.
match?
Like a long curly brown hair. Like,
It's not going to, because when the rabbit had been first talking about, had been showing her the physician, he was an older gentleman with gray hair wearing a dark bluish black suit that had a red lining.
Hmm. Hmm.
But she showed them Capaldi.
Well, one weirdo to
Is
another.
this-
She's going to basically like, all right, you're weird. Go talk with that weirdo over there. But do it in a very Rana way, which would be like much more kinder or subtle. And
Yeah.
Dawn will make her way over there, and she will also be like intrigued by the dress of this person. It's like,
And as she's approaching, he's definitely just like very excited. I mean, every wedding's just the best. I can't believe I get to go to another one, and this is medieval. It's even better. Oh, you don't know what the word medieval means. Don't even worry about it. Just know that it's, well, don't worry about it.
medieval. It sounds like
Following
it's
Tong the whole
middle
time, to be honest.
evil.
I'm with her for this.
I mean, it sounds like something in the middle of being something bad.
It's more like middle times.
Okay, but in between what?
Well, that's a very good question. I've never thought about that before. It's just in the middle of. I suppose it's in the middle of the early times and the late times.
You're very
This is very future thinking if you're thinking of the physician.
It sounds like a different position than like one of the
you're
older
certainly
ones.
the strangest person I've seen here. And that's coming from a room full of Europeans with a Chinese woman in it.
Yes, it is very odd for a Chinese woman to be here in this day and age. We're very lost.
I can't help but laugh. Because I'm following Tong around basically in Tong's little shadow for multiple reasons. One, I'm basically supposed to be this adjacent lady in waiting, and I also look like her, and so it's like I'm just gonna stick with the person I know, and I'm supposed to be mute because I can't talk to anybody. And there's also the letter from Gausha, so I'm like, I'm going to use this opportunity to just kind of shadow her because this is a potentially dangerous situation. But as he says that she's very lost, I happen to laugh.
Well, lost in a very unusual way, yes. Though I do happen to know where I am.
Oh yes, in London, the Londinium.
Yes. Year, what was it? 429 or 430 of Anno Domini.
That's what it is. Hmm. And I was aiming for a little earlier. Oh well.
I mean,
Not present.
now, Grant, you have a strange dress. Are you also a traveler?
I am. Love traveling. It's good times. Usually I do it with a friend. I don't have any friends with me this time. Really should fix that.
Now, so you are aiming for earlier. Does this have anything to do with traveling through time?
Do I know you?
No, admittedly, I don't know who you are, though I did come across a object that said they did know me, but I didn't know them yet.
An object?
Tom will make sure that no one's paying too much attention before bringing out the rabbit. This little thing appeared in a travel companion's bag earlier today, and has recognized me, though I have never met it before.
Do you make a regular habit of talking to stuffed animals?
To be fair, it spoke first.
Thief! Thief? You are a thief? He just starts talking. He's just kind of like, all right, it's talking. Cool. No, you thief. Me thief. Oh. Who told you that? I haven't stolen anything except me. You. No, I have not stolen you. I'm not even touching you. Blue box. I have stolen a blue box. That is not wrong. Though technically, I think she stole me first. Oh. No. And suddenly, there's a pause because they're having their little telepathic thing going on. And then he just goes, oh, you poor thing, now how did you end up in there?
Tong is just looking at Brian telepathically, telling her I have no idea what's going on.
Freya shrugs. It's but thinking, well, I can't respond to Tom, but I'm thinking anyway. It's well, I guess that's who her ladyship belongs. He must be the one that can call her sexy.
He's telepathically talking to her. And then he kind of looks up at you. You said you just found it in a bag. You definitely didn't pull her out of a blue box, did you?
I mean, this companion's mouse friend complained that something was invading its space, and there it was.
Oh, fascinating. Well, suppose now we're gonna figure out what's going on. I can take her off your hands. She does belong to me. Not this me, but future me. So that's interesting.
Freya looks
Yes.
confused.
Well, if somehow we run to each other again, and she'll say this telepathically, my name is Tanya Wen.
Oh. And I'm the physician. He'll say that telepathically. Pleasure to meet you.
Brina will. You'll see that Tong's eyes widen slightly as she gets the response telepathically, and before she resumes her impassive self. Never thought I would meet someone else that was psychic.
Oh yes, one of my favorite things.
I'm just kind of watching the two of them.
Why are you getting me into trouble? You're supposed to be keeping me out of trouble, which means some other me is out there getting into trouble. And he's scolding this rabbit as he walks out. And as he's walking out of the room, scolding this stuffed rabbit, you can see other nobility just watching him like he's freaking nuts.
Because the image that he creates is freaking nuts. I love it.
Tom will give the exasperated, as in he was such a handful before walking back to the rest of the crowd.
What a weirdo.
The Tong knows that he's a little less of a weirdo than everybody else in the room does.
No, she has a better idea of how much of a weirdo.
It's not that he's talking to the stuffed animal that is weird. That is what she knows. Everybody else in the room does not.
Are the married
All right.
couple also sitting at that raised table?
Yeah.
Okay.
Erden,
Hmm.
as your fans are all talking to you, a red-headed woman approaches you.
Hmm.
She comes up, and in flawless Saxon, that was beautifully playing. Tell me, how did you pick up the banjo of all things?
Well, see, it's kind of like this. I was traveling around, minding my own business, when a great storm came around. And Ern's like trying to also like just tell the story to everybody else, as well surrounding it. So when I came to, I ended up on this island filled with strange people they're certainly darker skinned than just about everybody in this room, might I add. And then it was basically set as a challenge. And for 2 days, I played on the only instrument I had, which was this old drum. Played my heart out, did all the songs I knew. And when I finally appeased them enough, I was able to receive this wondrous item. Took a lot longer to get off the island, but they also kind of kicked me out as well, so it worked out in the end.
Oh, think about it being trapped on an island. Did you tie two turtles together?
Yes, my hair used to be a lot longer.
Oh man, why is the rum gone?
I also had like 2 crossbow bolts with when I had a crossbow with a single bolt that I'm saving for a special person.
Funny thing is if it was any person, it'd be the ones who just got married.
Yeah.
And
If we kill the king, will that prevent the queen from committing suicide?
Yeah, but it'll cause different problems.
Out of character.
Aaron tries to like
Worms.
Ern basically like describes Atlantis in a very different light of, oh, this is one of those random Fey challenges things that you hear about from secondhand or something.
Mm-hmm.
So, might I ask, how did you know what it was called?
She'll just kind of give you a smile, wink, and then walk away.
Divine Sense.
Holy shit! She is glowing. There is so much power coming off of her that it's blinding.
dang it.
And Adea doesn't know.
No, she does not.
Well, she was nice.
Well, she was nice inside.
It's just like, okay, these are 3 different things happening at the same time. What am I supposed to do?
I have a goddess lady who knows I have a banjo. Dad is somehow magically reappeared. My arch enemy just got married to a girl who's actually pretty cool. Like, she could totally do better.
Suicidal
Right
queen,
now, Adea's trying to
father's in
pick
the
her poison,
area, and
floating
also
across the
another
Danon.
goddess. Great. Does anything else want to happen? Do we want the other end of the Bifrost to be landing in the middle of the dance floor now?
Well, the party don't start till I walk in.
And this is where everything goes wrong.
Right?
Yay!
We'll say the tooth has definitely managed to go create a little bit of terror and simultaneously avoid the Tuatha De Danann who is wandering around in here.
Adea's also probably going to try her best to avoid the Tuatha De Danann. She'd rather get into casual conversation with the goddess than deal with him again. The goddess she doesn't know is a goddess.
She'd be shiny. Shiny. But as everyone is settling down, you guys are welcome to meet back up with each other or separate to go join other tables if you want.
I think
Actually-
we would coincidentally sit near each other.
Wait, say that again?
I think we would coincidentally meet or sit at the same table. Just
Yeah.
at least at first, like perhaps like gather information before we go off and do other things.
Adea's primary goals involve not talking to the Tuatha De Danann, keeping her composure and trying to pretend to be a noble, and not getting on the dance floor because her form of dancing might hurt somebody.
Ern will try and, like, when it comes to seeing, like, try and sit next to Rod, or at the very least as close as he can. Like,
Easy enough.
She's kind of lost now because the grain's not there to to hold her hand.
Oh, no. My guy's gone.
And I'm having to play mute, so I can't help either.
Is trying to figure out the right level of proper and boldness because she's like, I'm trying to pretend to be noble, but I'm not trying to pretend to be like the mothers, which are definitely bold, but I definitely want a little bit of that, but too much is going to draw attention.
Oh look, there's Mama Rada.
Oh.
Maybe she'll know what to do.
As long as she's not close to the Tuatha De Danann or the dance floor.
As we
I will say that your passive perception is high enough that if you want to observe what the other noble women are doing and try and copy what they're doing, you can.
That does sound like a good idea, although Adele will probably try to figure out how to copy it with her own spin.
Okay. I want you to give me a perform. This should be very entertaining.
Ooh, I rolled a 4, so 7 total.
It's kind of like watching a child mimic their parents.
Oh, no.
A little bit too exaggerated. Nobody's really taking note, except for maybe some of the younger ladies who, they're all kind of in competition for the attention of others. So they're kind of mocking you a little bit, but you may not necessarily notice that. As you're
Alright.
like the older women.
Alright, Rada would definitely notice. Tong may or may not. If she doesn't, Rada will point around. Should be like for the benefit of anyone else near her, just like, oh dear, that young woman appears lost. Go bring her over.
Scurrying over and like just grab Dea. It's like
Adele will pretend to look confused.
I'm gonna say it's not gonna take a whole
It's a real feeling of confusion. The pretend part is that she doesn't understand who is pulling her around.
That'll be about the time that Erden is able to kind of squeeze in with you guys.
Like, well, and I don't know. I'm kind of thinking like Raz on one end, Days on the other, and well, Ern's like, okay, so you got to don't exaggerate so much. You can pull your elbow down like this, and you'll work out a lot better. Like trying to help out at this point. Like, this performance is going bad. He'll actually he'll lean over to Ron and just say, okay, so a couple of things I've noticed. Who's that weird guy? Do you know what's going on with that weird guy with that rabbit? Was he the owner or something?
Fraud is just like,
Okay.
I want to talk to that Celtic lady that's been following me and see
she
if I
doesn't
should be
like do
concerned
this
if she's
because that
here.
would be obvious. But she's
Yeah.
giving the effect of like, I have no idea.
And have you seen that red-haired lady braid blue dress?
She's been following me all day.
That was her?
Yes, that.
Yes, I have noticed her.
Okay. Evade at all costs. Or at the very least, don't displease. I'm pretty sure.
What have you
She
noticed
seems
about her?
nice.
Is she someone we know?
Quite possibly. I mean, there's very few who would know what a banjo is. I don't even think half the party knows the actual name of my instrument.
Make a good point. Adea probably wasn't paying attention.
I did, but that's because I'm a bard.
The tooth is it's just like, that what it's called? Huh.
And we're all like I just imagine his voice is like from somewhere underneath the table. That we're just and I'm just like mentally I'm just like, yeah, tooth's under the table.
Adea will
We
kind of
got
speak
craziness.
downwards. Don't make me turn you in. I don't want to.
I'd like to see you try.
Okay. Not a friendly person we possibly know.
At least proceed with caution.
At least more caution than last time we were here.
Yes, obviously. And also, what's with the whole suicide thing?
Emrys just said that if she were to die, then that would start a war. That's
So he
a
gives
lot
us the
worse.
lead.
One that
Like,
sounds like a
it's like
great
Ern
opportunity.
wants to
But
face
you
him right now.
didn't it already start a war?
We don't want to make the. We do not want to make the war worse.
Did he not give any information at all about the context of it? How she's doing it? When? Anything?
No, but I think you, Igraine, and or Tong should speak with her at some point. The
Funny
three of you
story.
are. These three of you are capable of speaking Saxon.
Okay,
I
makes
speak
sense.
the language of war. No, wait. I didn't say that.
Actually, Ern will like look down a little bit after noticing Tooth is
Yeah.
down there. Just like, do you know? Can you
Adea
spot
goes back to trying
magical
to
stuff?
be proper.
Sorry, what? Can
Ern
I?
will actually like try and name his voice down to Tooth and just ask. So, difference between magical items and non-magical items, specifically curses.
Easy.
Cool, because there's one in a sealed off room somewhere around here.
Oh, you want me to go sneak? I can sneak. What am I sneaking?
I don't know what it is, but it might have caused the earlier queen's death by consumption. I want to know whether or not it's true.
I knew it. What? Queen's Old Chambers?
Yeah, it's all sealed off.
On it.
But I feel back with mine too. It's like anything to get me out of this room with the Tuatha De Danann.
The stealth check isn't for getting into the room; it's for avoiding the Tuatha De Danann.
And like Ern will look back to Ron, just like, okay, so that's one possible way of death. So now we just have to figure out how to stop her from going to high places, casual, and serious poisons. It's difficult to drown yourself. Do you think she'll go by fire?
I'll try not to do that.
I mean, I don't know. You're more familiar with Saxon customs than I.
Would that be a knowledge check of some sort?
Yeah.
Great, we're doing knowledge checks to figure out how a Saxon woman might commit suicide.
You know, I'm starting to really like this dice I recently bought because it gave me another natural 20.
Nice.
Which is fortunate because I just had to put another dice into dice jail.
Oh no.
Not for natural ones, but because it gave me 4 3s in a row.
Oh wow.
That's me.
Actually, what's Rada's response to all this? Like, Ern being mildly responsible about this.
Well, currently is in a let's figure things out mode, but afterwards she'll be like,
Yeah.
good job on being responsible for once.
Don't make sad noises. Sad noises are scary.
No, Ide, you're not supposed to hold a knife like a pen. You got to turn it around.
So,
I bet you Adea knows how to use a knife. It just probably.
for English, for Saxons, it's viewed as the best way to die is in battle. They really frown upon suicide. They see it as a crime, almost. And so it's very weird for her to be considering it at all.
Maybe it'd make her father look bad.
And I mean, you had that conversation with her earlier. You can gather that she's not pleased with her circumstances to begin with.
Mhm.
So it may not matter to her at this point whether it's a crime or not. She may not see a way out.
Yeah, or when he heard suicide, I was like, okay, that's surprising that she would choose that, but also not surprising at all given who it is.
Yeah, pretty much. That's not how I would do it, but
I have an idea that neither you nor Tong will like. But try to ingratiate yourselves with her if you can.
Or I'll kind of slowly turn towards this highly placed table that's away from everyone else. Like,
I know it's going to be extremely difficult. But what other choice do we have? It's not like we can kidnap her.
Am I allowed to create a distraction?
No.
we're not writing it.
Wait, kidnapping.
Is after wedding like
That sounds
is,
like we need a
after dinner
distraction.
socializing something that is expected to do for everybody?
yeah. So the kind of dancing they do in this day and age is going to be very much social dancing. They don't do individual dancing yet.
Okay.
So this will be a free for all kind of thing.
It'll probably be easiest at this point to do it after everyone's eaten. Beginning a moment to. Yeah, we're gonna have to ingratiate before we're able to really broach the subject without others hearing about it.
So do you want
Okay, fine.
do you want a direct approach or do you want a subtly suggest approach?
For ingratiating?
Well, that too, but for the trying to prevent.
Oh, you always go. You always unless they specifically state it, you don't admit that you know it. I'm gonna go subtle route.
Tong looks like she's getting a thoughtful look and just like, that's true, they didn't know before I tried. Or at least they didn't give the impression like they knew.
From where I'm sitting next to her, I'm just gonna look up at her. Not say anything, but just like okay.
Tong was definitely like muttering that to herself, but you know, with Brienne and Rada sandwiching her basically.
Mm-hmm.
How high Rada's passive perception, and she definitely caught it.
I'm paying more attention to Tong at the moment anyway, for multiple different reasons. The note, trying to make sure that I act Chinese, um, other just random things because I'm acting mute. And it's like, yeah, no, that's it's information.
You know what's funny is that one of us is a king that very much does not like us, but he is not one of the imposters in the room.
It's debatable.
At least he can play the part. There's at least two imposters in this room who are trying very hard to keep up appearances.
I've got an idea. I think I can pull that off. Yeah.
Alright, well then be a gentleman and take the lead. Tong says absolutely, at least with the in-group known for sarcasm.
Okay. should probably start eating now because I'm not gonna get a chance later. Okay. Like you can definitely see like Ern just trying to grapple with. Okay, so now I have to actually take the lead about something. I can't just encourage from the background and watch as the fallout occurs from the sidelines.
You've been entrapped.
So it's the here's job. Like from
Um. So as you're eating, Rada, you catch out of the corner of your eye a woman walk in. Long black hair, white gown. Pale skin. Right now her eyes come up dark. But as they catch the light, there's just the slightest red gleam to them. And she is heading for the high table.
Arian's divine sense still up.
I said that
It's-
was like long, pale, black hair. Or no, long black hair, pale skin, and what else?
White gown. Faint
White
red
gown.
gleam in her.
Faint red gleam in her otherwise black eyes.
Divine Sense only lasts for 6 seconds, so you can ask Aaron to use it again, though he might get blind by the two great deities in one room.
Well, that's if Rada points out that this person's walked in. Rada, you recognize this person because the last time you saw her, she tried to kill you.
Yeah. Hold on.
No divine sense needed.
Hold on. Hey, so what are the party members' passive insights?
Vince? Sorry?
Passive insight.
18.
I'm not again.
11.
Adea sees through to your soul.
Alright, so had 11, Idea 18, and Brina how much?
So it's 10 plus the modifier? 11.
Okay, so Idea is... Well, Idea and I think Tong are the only ones that would recognize Rada has panic in her eyes.
Is it time for a distraction?
No, absolutely not. We have a old friend here. Walking up to the high table.
Aaron kind of just looks over.
Well, Erden, it's your favorite person in the universe. The one person you were hoping not to come across here.
Divine Sense, anyways. Like, just to see what.
You recognize her very much from this power. The one thing to add to this, though, that other woman you done, right in line with her, like the amount of power that was coming off. But you're sensing it's not the same kind. Almost as though they were opposite.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
That's actually what's been making Erden nervous the whole time. Like, if one is here, what's the likelihood of the other showing up very quickly?
I already recognized both of them.
Oh no. Just Ern so much as thinks lower in his chair. It's like, oh gee. I did not know this was gonna be everyone in this room's last meal.
Brand's just like looking up. It's like with the weight of the panic that I can now see that I'm paying attention on their faces, I'm just gonna like forget all about my muteness and like we're in trouble, aren't we?
If we keep our heads down, we should be fine. Should be. Being the operative word.
And on that note, that's where we're gonna end for today.
Oh no!
I knew it.
Talk about a cliffhanger.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
an excellent
100
cliffhanger.
feet to
Though.
the bottom. Chuck rocks.